Hello, hello, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Megan, and I talk a lot about journaling and writing around here. And now that we have just wrapped up September, I thought I would take today to walk you through my pages, my monthly, weekly, daily pages throughout September, and then maybe we'll do a little bit of setup in October. I've also got my cozy drink here. It's a white chocolate mocha from a local coffee shop. I did have to move it into my mug because it was starting to get cold. This is actually my childhood hot chocolate mug. It's my absolute favorite mug. It is just a freebie corporate mug from August 1995. I don't know what it is about this cup that really stuck with me, but this is my mug, my special mug. And then I've got my current reads with me right now. I'm sure you've seen some of these sitting on my stack in previous months as well. I'm just starting The Orange by Wendy Cope. I've read quite a few of these poems already in other places, so I'm really excited. I have loved her work so far. This is the one I've been working on for a few months now. It is the collected poems of Edna St. Vincent Millay. Ooh, there we go. But I have loved Millay's poetry for many, many years now. And for my birthday, my husband got me the compiled poems book. So I'm slowly working my way through that. And then I've been working on my nonfiction and memoir skills for writing. So I've been reading You Can't Make This Stuff Up by Lee Gutkind. It's been pretty good so far. I'm still working through it, but that's my little update of what's going on my desk today. So let's go ahead and dive into the journal. I won't keep you waiting. Let's see. Here is what my September looks like. I still think I do want to fill in some of this extra space, but mostly my monthly page is my calendar and then whatever little pieces of trash I collected and saved throughout the month, plus a few little stickers to commemorate what we were doing that day. There's not a whole lot to talk about for this spread. It's about kind of the same thing I've been doing for this whole book so far. I've got a tag from a DVD we bought, a flag from a burger I ate, cut out from a box of chocolate, just lots of couple of stickers from orders that I had gotten. And yeah, there's not a whole lot else to talk about here. So I will go ahead and move on to the September weekly pages. So this is where I left you off last time. This spread was a lot more sparse when you saw it last, I think. I love the colors on this spread as well. And then I, of course, have my to-do list for the week that I kind of spread out onto the different days, and my meal plan. Another spread with more of the same, lots of to-do lists, lots of reminders, and lots of stickers. Big fan of this one as well. I was pretty happy with my weekly spreads. I'm generally a fan of lots more words. Oh, that is something I can point out. You might notice that back when I first started putting my to-do list in my weekly pages, I had them all kind of squished together, which was plenty functional, but things did kind of blend together when an item on the list would take more than one line. So you'll notice this month I've put a space between all of my to-do list items. That kind of helps fill out more of the page and also helps me just be able to see what's going on a little better. And then we've got this past week. I've got a pepper sticker. I like to try and save things from my fruits and vegetables when I remember. Those are fun little stickers to add in. And yeah, a short and sweet little tour of my weekly pages for September. This is the current week, still working on filling in some things. And then I will move on to my daily pages. Something else I could point out is, you might remember my little charms. Those are my little bookmarks for the 3 different sections. And I believe last time we spoke, I had them on the top and I had them on the right side of the page. And I ended up, it was getting a little difficult to try and grab a bookmark on the top. And I found this works just a lot better. And when I'm flipping from the front, grabbing the back of the bookmark is a lot easier than trying to grab in front of it. So this bottom left corner is perfect for adding these little charms. They're still not the best solution for a bookmark, but it is kind of just what I have right now, and I am rolling with it. So we've got our September cover page. Thank you to everyone who gave your opinions on the last video. I wasn't sure whether the little bat sticker made it too busy of a page, but you guys were right. You made the right call. I left it there, and I also added this little cutout from a grocery ad. I don't even remember. It was some like muffin or something that had a little circle that said topped with cinnamon streusel and apple filling. And I don't know, I thought it was a cute little embellishment, so I cut it out, and then it just so happened to perfectly match the color of the bat. And I have been eating lots of cinnamon and apple this month because of all the fall treats. So I'm quite pleased. You guys made the right call on decorating this page. So thank you for that. I've got, right off the bat, a day when I did not do a whole lot of journaling, which is fine. I will probably go back and add some thoughts into here, but for now it's just got my kit with her little typewriter and writing desk set. Oh my gosh, so cute. I wanted those quite badly as a kid, but it's probably for the better that I didn't get them. I already had plenty of American Girl accessories. So I'm satisfied to have it as a little sticker in my journal. And then on this page, I've got a couple of, in addition to just my daily journaling in my left column, I try to use my right column for just random thoughts, kind of word dumps. I'm not trying to make it sound fancy or anything. Honestly, the right column is a lot of times just very random stuff. Sometimes it's documenting something from the day more in detail, but here we have documenting that we did confirm my husband is allergic to bananas. And then to separate the 2 different journal sections, I have a cute little mouse cutout that I just had in my stash. Figured I'd use him. And then took some time to write about, I said, on getting scrappy and appreciating what I have. So I did some reflection on that. Don't worry, I did actually do some proper journaling this month. It just might take a few days to get into it. A couple more days of just my daily documentation, no other additional thoughts, and then just some random stickers, cutouts, washi tape. On those days, more daily documentation. I've got some cutouts from a cookbook because I made muffins that day. And then I started using stamps this month. I've gone back and added some in on various pages, and the results are mixed. I knew I ran a bit of a risk because this paper is so thin, and I know, like, you can already see some marker through there. It's not really bleeding so much as ghosting, I suppose, but some of these stamps turned out quite nice. Looks very nice. You can kind of see it through, but it's not too bad. We'll see some more questionable stamping in a little bit. We've got some fantasy embellishments from a day I spent playing D&D. And then finally, we've got some journaling going on. On this page, I had just gone through an ad that came in the mail from some local grocery store, and I cut out some of the things that I've been eating lately or cooking with lately and just glued them around the page. And didn't have anything really more to say about it, so I just used a regular Crayola marker to write in. I was going to say stuff I've been eating lately, but I had too much room. So I said stuff I've been eating as of late. And then on this page, I carried over another marker title and wrote a bit about a rather awkward social interaction I had at the thrift store. So I figured that was worth documenting. Tuesday was a bit of a rainy day, so I used one of my cutouts from my Winnie the Pooh book of Piglet looking out at the rain. He's adorable. I cannot get over these little illustrations. I might have to look for another one for next year because I'm starting to run out of pictures. But I have a little piglet there. Nothing on this page yet. We'll see if I try to find something that kind of matches that, or if I just leave it blank and maybe add some extra journaling there. Let's see. Oh, this is when I started writing about my journaling plans for next year. Don't read it too closely because I am going back and forth constantly about it. I would love your input as to what sort of videos you're interested in. I am not usually one to base my real life decisions on what will do best with the algorithms that be, but there are just so many journals out there is the problem. There's so many journals, so many planners that I would love to try, but I am also enjoying the Hobonichi Cousin. So I'll share a little bit of what I was reflecting on. Trying the original size Hobonichi, I'm not quite sure, I feel like they're closer to like that size, which would be a bit more manageable for just filling up with daily documentation. I would lack the space to kind of brain dump like this, but then I would also maybe not have quite so many blanks to go back and fill in. So I'm curious, do you guys have a preference between like the A6 and the A5 sizes in Hobonichi? The problem is I'm looking at the Hobonichi weeks and seeing the potential for a planner and a journal, which kind of just seems excessive. And I have enjoyed having my journal and planner all be in the same place. I wouldn't be opposed to going back to having them separate though, because it does kind of feel like two different aspects of my life merged into one book, but it is also very convenient. It's not convenient for traveling with though, which is part of why I'm thinking about those two other sizes. They might be a bit smaller, might be a bit easier to keep in like a purse and take on the go. But I am so inspired by Seaweed Kisses on YouTube using the weeks as a very, I don't want to say messy, but I feel like she would also call it messy. A much more just organic, I feel like that might be the better word. An organic, very unconcerned with aesthetic, I suppose is what I might call it. It's still very colorful and fun to look at, but it's not so fussy with stickers. However, I have also been massively inspired by Adriana's weeks from Adri's Logs. I love how she just uses the small daily boxes for just everyday quick little notes about what happened during the day, and then the right side that is more of a blank open space for a bit of more in-depth journaling. And I feel like I only ever do the more in-depth journaling, or at least feel the need to, like once a week, which would be perfect for the weeks. So I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. And then my other option was completely abandoning the Hobonichi, which I don't know. I don't know if you guys would like that, because I know you guys are so into the Hobonichi pages. I love just how many of you show up and have so many thoughts whenever I talk about these. But I was considering going back to a blank notebook and getting a little more messy with it. But I love these dated pages. They keep me accountable. But if I were to do that, I would probably pair it with my rings planner, which I have kind of abandoned, which is sad because I love this planner. So maybe, now that I'm talking through it, like I could do a week's for journaling and then my rings for actual planning. Oh, I don't know. See, this is why I need you guys. I need to know what you like to see, what you like to do, kind of how your ecosystem works, because seeing what you all come up with is very helpful for inspiring what I'm going to do moving forward. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent to talk about whether I want to keep doing this or do something else next year. You can see my crisis continues a little bit onto this page where I talk about how I love to use what I already have. And I already have plenty of notebooks, but also this system is working so well for me that I kind of don't want to let go of it. And I've got just a couple of embellishments on this page. A random Beanie Baby bear, because I really didn't have anything that represented the day. So I figured I'd use just a cute little teddy bear. And a banana bread that I cut out of a cookbook as well, because I made some banana bread that day. You can kind of see the saga unfold as we discover my husband's allergic to banana, and then all the bananas go rotten, so I have to make a banana bread out of them. We had another little rainy day where we went out, did some shopping, got some stuff at Half Price Books, and I love the Half Price Books tags as little embellishments. And I was so pleased, so excited about the colors on this page. And then on the back of this page, I did a stamp that turned out so awful that I had to cover it with washi tape. However, it bleeds onto the date on this side, so I'm trying not to be too precious about it. I'm trying not to be sad. I am a little sad though, because this was like one of my favorite pages I had done in this whole book. And then the other side of this bread it's okay. It's not bad. It's a little messed up though. But because of this giant cutout from my Winnie the Pooh book, I just used this whole space for my daily documentation. And then nothing on this side yet. We'll see what I fill in. And then we've got a bit more of a fussy page, I suppose. A lot of times when I'm journaling in the evening, I am not feeling like sitting down and figuring out the design layout, so I just add, a couple of little things. But on this day I was feeling a little fancy, so I've got some washi tapes, I've got one of my stamp washies and another little paper sticker, and I've got a drawing. My husband had been playing through Silksong a ton, so I just used a green colored pencil and drew a little picture of Hornet in the corner. She's so cute. And I gathered the colors for this page from this little picture, which was a cutout from an old magazine. And I loved the fall vibes and her adorable sweater and the home cooking. I like to do a lot of home cooking for most of our meals, so I put that on a page that I was doing some cooking, and I love how the colors ended up on this page. I don't love the poor little stamp that I butchered, but I love the rest of it. And then this day, I had filled up enough of the space with ephemera that I just did a very large daily log on this page without the columns. And then on the right-hand column of this page, I used a journaling prompt that I grabbed from Pinterest. How do you define success for yourself? So I reflected on that and some of the different categories that I look at in my life for success. And then we've got another magazine cutout. I have been loving these. I have a large stash of just pages I've ripped out of old magazines, and I loved the page tear that I had done here. So I just kind of cut it down and slid it into here and used the rest of the space for my daily documentation. And then, we have a saga coming up in these next few pages. We had reached out to a rescue about adopting a certain dog, and you will see the highs and lows of trying to figure out, is this the dog for us? Are we sure we want this one, or we don't want to wait a little longer? So here's my brain dump of anxiety and not being sure how to move forward with that. And I have a little dog sticker there. We've got, I definitely need to add something in here because this is a very blank page. I know it's okay to leave blank pages, but that needs a little something. And then again, more just daily documentation. Didn't really take the time to add anything else. I had planned ahead, and I knew we were going out for brunch on Saturday, so I put this little like quiche picture on here several days before we went, and that's the risk of planning ahead, because we got there, I was so excited about my little quiche, and then they were out. I was a little sad about that. One of these days, I'll go back and get my quiche. Here we've got a continuation of the dog saga. We went to go meet her on that day, and since we were really kind of busy that day, I just used this to-do list, scrap from a to-do list pad, and wrote just kind of the things I did that day without too much description, as a way to kind of speed up the process of documenting that day. But I did feel like I would want to look back on how that meeting went, so I went ahead and did just kind of a summary of that evening off to the side. And then we continue on with me going back and forth on what we wanted to do, and then ultimately that adoption did fall through. So she is not here with us. She has another very loving family, but there's that should be the end of my saga and my stressing and my reflecting on that for a little bit. And then something a little more lighthearted. I wrote about my day, obviously, and then I wrote about the American Girl Doll of the Year for 2026, because a friend had actually messaged me and said, oh my gosh, did you see? Her name is Raquel Reyes, and she is the great-granddaughter of Samantha, who I grew up with. Well, I didn't have the doll, but I had the books and the magazines and the catalogs and everything. So I was very, very happy to hear about that and to read Raquel's story. And then after I wrote a little bit about that, I thought, I will reflect a little bit about what American Girl meant to me growing up. And then over on this side, I did a little sketch of the outfit I was wearing that day and wrote a bit about how I feel about it, how I like it, and how kind of mismatched and eccentric it feels. And then I kind of finished that thought around here, so I went ahead and filled in the rest of the spot with thoughts on what makes an outfit or a piece of clothing feel like me, what I've been drawn to lately. And then we've got more, didn't have a whole lot of time for journaling here. I did a cutout of the box of chocolates I got and a drive-through, what would you call this? The sticker from an order from the drive-through. We got pumpkin donuts. So I stuck that in there, and then I had a day, this was very fun. I went out to an event with some friends where I don't even know how to describe it. It was a concert dance party thing where they were spraying paint into the crowd. And I'm not usually someone who's super into getting messy, but I am into hanging out with my friends, and it ended up being so fun, but I was feeling very tired at the end of the night, so I just used this, is it a calling? It's not quite a calling card. Would you call this a calling card? I don't know. A little message card, and I just kind of did a summary of what I did that day, but didn't have to put forth the energy to do a whole page of writing. And we've got a day that I went with my family to a farm, and we did some apple picking. So I just cut this out from an ad. So much of my ephemera is just free trash, essentially. This was from a piece of junk mail. This is from the bag of apples. It was a little plastic bag that I cut out the little label off of. And then this was a napkin from the event we went to. So that's all kind of my apple picking adventure. But afterward, I did go back to my mom's house and help clean out some of the stuff in the basement. And I brought home a few treasures. So I wrote down just a documentation of the items I brought home. Lots of things from my childhood or things that belonged to my dad that were very special to me. And I'm very glad to have them. I wanted to kind of just put a little bookmark in when I brought those things home. And then on this side, I had just finished The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. And it was pretty good. It was depressing. I should have known that picking it up, but man, it was a little sad. Not gonna lie. But I wrote a bit about, I wrote about how sad it was. But I wrote a few of the quotes that stuck out to me, some of the things about her writing style that I noticed and appreciated, some of the writing mechanics that she had used, and I wrote about how her experience with grief mirrored mine a lot, and it kind of inspired me to sit down and write down some of my own story. So I did enjoy the experience overall. Make sure you're in the right headspace to start on that book, though. This has been a fun place to kind of write a very low-key review of books I'm reading. I know some people have media journals where they write specifically about the things they read or watch, but I can't keep up with more than a couple of journals. So keeping this in here just felt right. And I like interacting with media that way to kind of grow in. I know everyone's talking about media literacy right now, but just taking a moment to reflect about something, I feel like really helps with my ability to understand a piece, I think. So I'm big into writing about the things that I'm reading and watching right now. It's been very, very fun for me. And then we've got the past couple of days. I had another kind of lazy day. This day I took like multiple naps. So I have my little Lazy Gudetama sticker. And then this is the other cutout from my apple bag. And I don't know, I think it's fun. I think it's a fun little, well, a fun large decoration for this page. And then I added in, I might need to like give this an underline or something. I used a red pen. We had some people in our lives tell us that they were expecting on that day. I blocked out the names because it's not public knowledge yet, but that was very exciting. And I think maybe I will use my red pen on some sort of title here just to kind of carry over that. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what I end up writing on this page, but that does bring us to October. I actually need to start untaping a lot of these things I had saved because today is October 1st, so I need access to this page. There we go. I think it might be about time. This definitely needs a little bit more embellishment over here. So I'm thinking maybe we take some time here together to fill out this title page a little more, and maybe we'll do some planning for future October days because we've got lots of Halloween-y type stickers here. I do think, yeah, I think he's gonna look really good with the colors. I have a few of these little stuffed animals that I cut out, again, from an ad. What else will go nicely with this page? I've got some cutouts from a magazine article. I believe it was the one, oh, I think it's the one that I cut these apples out of. And I don't know, I love the typeface that they're written in, and I love that it was about autumn, so lots of autumnal words going on. I loved how that looked on this page. So I think that's probably enough of the text for this page, but I definitely need to put it on some other pages. Also, I need to look at the washi tapes. Let me move my coffee if I'm going to be digging around in the washi tapes, because I am not about to risk dropping coffee on my book. Let's see. I think, yeah, that's a bit too reddish for that. That's sad. I love my orange washi tape, but I don't think it's gonna match very well. I think that one will be good. I always use my green. And then, yeah, I think these geese might need to make an appearance. Okay, that is a solid selection we've got here. I probably will not use all of them, but we'll see. We'll see how many I do use. Down here. This process is just a lot of testing all sorts of different combinations. Scoot that over a little bit so those overlap. This is not the most efficient system for washi tapes that I've got going on here, but I used to have them all laying down in rows in the bottom of a box. But then I got too many washi tapes. I know it's such a silly problem to have, but I did start having issues with storage. So here we are dropping tapes everywhere, because that seems to be my best option, right? Okay, I kind of think maybe some of these flowers are the bees. Oh, the bees would be cute, but I'm still not sure about this situation. I guess I could move this up and under here. I don't want to cover too much goose though. Yeah, I think I like that, because then he's like running out from beneath the text. So I can cut that a little bit off. Because I kind of think maybe the bees go in here. There we go. I will say, I was talking last time about this Aleene's glue stick, and it works very well on most surfaces, but for whatever reason, this paper, it like peels up off of very easily and needs glued down another time. But that's really good for my purposes of being indecisive and peeling things up all the time. So if that sounds good to you, this is the glue I use for that. I think I'll move these down beneath the bow if I can get the bow pulled up. Most of my stickers are really forgiving when it comes to peeling up off of this paper. Some of them, like these bows that I have, are a little more tricky, and you risk tearing the paper a little more. But that came up pretty darn nicely. If I squeeze that, this could use like a little skelly to hold it down. And I'm going to trim this down just a little bit so it's not quite so close to the October title. But other than that, I like the like faint blue tint on this picture of peeling apples, because this stream has a little bit of a blue tint, but not enough to like use a blue washi. There we go. And I think that prepares us, unless maybe I want to add. Watch me, I'm never going to finish this page because I keep adding things. Do we want this little bat here? He's kind of fun. Bottom balance. I think that's it. Okay, I am officially done fiddling with this for now. We'll see if I add anything throughout the month. But for right now, that is my October cover page. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I do have a few pages already set up. You might see through the page I am all set up for Life of a Showgirl to come out in just a couple of days. I've got a little orange radio, perfect for that, and then a little like orange and teal recording studio that just so happened to be in my American Girl sticker book. I cannot believe that I had the perfect stickers for that, so that's why that's all set up. And then I had a cute little popsicle with an orange in it that kind of matched the colors and vibe. So I've got that. I've got a picture of Audrey Hepburn as a bride because I've got a wedding celebration that day. So that's my embellishment for that day, unless I come up with something else that I want to put on that page. I've got a sticker of Kaya doll in her modern powwow outfit for Indigenous Peoples Day. I've got a reading list to prepare for that day. I'm sure I'll journal about that. I don't think I really have any other plans outlined for October besides Halloween. So maybe we'll go ahead and stick down this ghost because I've been dying to use this ghost. Question is, do we also add a little bat or a little spider? I think maybe the spider. Let's see. What do we think? Do we like that? I think I have to, right? I think I have to commit to this because they are so darn cute. So I think we've got October all set up. We've got a few key dates all ready to go. We've got our cover page. That is a lot busier than all of my other cover pages. That's going to take some time to get used to. But I am pretty pleased with it. Thank you so much for spending time with me today as I flipped through and reflected on the last month and then as I prepared for the upcoming month. I love having you guys here. I love having something to share with you all every month. And I love seeing what you all have to say about my journaling and your own journaling. I'm having so much fun chatting with you about this. So please, if you have any thoughts on anything I've put together or anything you might like to see from me, or if you just want to share what your journal system looks like right now, I am so happy to chat about that in the comments. It has been so much fun. But in the meantime, I will get to journaling and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.